I'm super excited to welcome Macy Enneking and Jenny Cape to the On Iowa podcast in honor of the Hawkeyes Big Ten championship win. Hey y'all, how you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having us here.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously it's been quite the ride for y'all, and I just kind of wanted to know if in your own words, like if you could describe how this season came to be what it did, because I know that y'all started off with like 6 straight games with no goals scored. And yeah, how were you able to turn it around? And either of you can start the conversation.
Macy, you want to start?
Sure. I think honestly, it just came with like trusting the process. Just kind of like our coach kind of kept saying throughout the whole season. It kind of came with a lot of like hard work and not backing down. Like there were a lot of times where we could have shut down and could have just kind of said, okay, well, this is what we're going to be known for this season. But we stayed resilient and persevered through a lot of adversity, and it kind of came out on top.
Yeah, I was just gonna say this. It kind of goes with the theme of the past year or so of being like all the unexpected that's coming in with the corona and everything that's happened with the pandemic. But like Macy said, we started off in I think 6 games, no goals. No one was expecting, obviously, to end how it did, but no one was expecting us to even like come close to where we came to. So I think everyone was just kind of like, oh, we just got to get through it. Like eventually maybe next season we'll start over and it'll be fine. But then I think once we got to postseason and even towards the end of regular season, we started scoring, we started winning a bit. We were kind of like, okay, like we're better than we're showing. And so we kind of just like rode the momentum and kept going with it. And the joke of postseason was like how we're on a revenge tour and we're coming back to play all the teams we played in the normal conference and show them that first show we played wasn't how we actually play, and just kind of prove to everyone that this is the first half of the season wasn't who we are, and this is time to kind of really show who we are.
Macy, I know you kind of took on the starting role and goal like halfway through the regular season. I was wondering if you could take me to that first game where you got put in real time and what it was like to be a freshman and kind of take on that role.
Yeah, of course. It was crazy, that's for sure. It was a lot of emotions kind of like all in one. I went in the second half of our Rutgers game where we were already down 2-0. And I remember what my coach said to me. I was like obviously very excited, but obviously very nervous as well. We were playing a very good Rutgers team, and I think we were a lot better than we showed. But my coach came up to me and said, "You've done this a million times before. This is just another game. Just play how you always do. You know how to play soccer." And I think that really helped me just kind of settle my nerves and be like, okay, I know I'm capable of doing this. I've been working towards this for almost a year now, since I've been here for 3 semesters now. So yeah, it was just a lot of emotions, a lot of I was thinking a lot like, this is your opportunity, like show them what you can do. And yeah, I think it was a great game. I think we really kind of started to show up and play how we have been playing like towards the end of the season. So it was awesome.
Macy, have you always played goalie? I remember growing up, I only played soccer for a few years, but I felt like as a kid, no one wanted to play goalie. Everybody wanted to play forward and score the goals. So I'm just curious how you kind of fell into that position. Like, I want to know a little bit of your background.
Yeah, of course. So I remember as a little kid, starting soccer back in Ohio, I always wanted to be the goalkeeper. I thought it was the coolest position. I also thought it was like the most unique. So I was like, oh, you're the only one on the team that can use your hands. I always wanted to be like that cool person, I guess. So I kind of always was like gravitating towards goalkeeping. And then more of my high school season, I want to say I was more forward based actually. On my high school team, I was one of our top forwards. And in my club, on my club team, however, I was still the goalkeeper. So I think it was good to kind of not stray away from goalkeeping, but find like another, position and kind of find my love for it again, because there was a time where I feel like goalkeeping was all it was. And it really helped me with my foot skills as well to become a forward. But I always knew in my heart that I was a goalkeeper and that this is what I was going to do if I was to play in the next league.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I guess I wanted to know, you've seen a lot of success here late in the season. And I just want to know what's working for you right now on the field. I mean, obviously you're riding some sort of like momentum, but you must be seeing things right. So I just want to know what's going on.
Yeah, honestly, all glory to my teammates. They've just been amazing. An awesome back line we have. I want to say I'm trying to be more confident for them because I know that they have the skills to be like one of the best like back lines. And I think just me trying to be more confident and give them confidence is helping them a lot in turn as well as helping me because I know that they trust me back there. So yeah, I want to say just more like your confidence and communication has been helping us a lot, but overall they've just been an amazing back line and just overall team.
Jenny, I wanted you to take me through that game-winning goal against Wisconsin. Like what were you seeing and what was going through your mind in the moment? Just take me through that moment for all of us.
I mean, it still doesn't really feel real to be honest, but like I just remember it was such a perfect setup from Sammy and Micah. Like they literally served it to me on a silver platter. And I remember when I first hit it, so I had a touch and I was like, okay, there's no one stepping to me, might as well just take a shot and see what happens. And when I shot it, I remember thinking, oh, she's gonna tip it over. Like it's not going in. Like there's no way. Because I thought for sure she would have a hand or something on it. And then when I saw it hit the back of the net, I think like more than anything, it was just shock because that was only my second goal of my career. And for it to come in a game like that, I was just like, how did that just happen? And then when my teammates swarmed me and like everyone was screaming and hugging and smiling, I think it's just the best feeling in the world. And it's something that I for sure will remember for the rest of my life.
And it was your first goal this season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so
insane.
yeah. I mean, it was also like it's just funny because being from Wisconsin, like both of my older siblings graduated from there. My younger sister's freshman there right now. And my parents had drove in from Wisconsin to watch the game in person. And so it was kind of like the cherry on top to just, I mean, a weird season, but just the perfect ending that I couldn't have asked for.
Yeah, and there's a lot of youth on this team, and you're a junior. And I just wanted to know how have you seen this team change over the years? And what is it like to really have a team that's got a lot of youth on it?
Yeah, so I think one thing that definitely changed a lot is since last year we were one of the oldest teams in the country, I think, because we had, I think, 12 or 13 seniors that graduated. And so I think that was a big part of why it took us so long to kind of get going this season is because we lost a big part of who we were. And so we kind of were struggling to find our identity as a team and kind of find our style of play, losing so many, like not only seniors, but also like key players on the team. And so I think at first, like with such a big incoming class too, I think there was just a kind of like adjusting to each other's style of play and each other's just personalities because there's a lot of new personalities on the team. And I think once we kind of found our groove and found how we like to play each other and all that all that different stuff, I think it really helped us like you said, find the momentum that we needed to kind of reach the end of the season.
It's got to be tough being such a young team, and then you go through something like COVID and you're starting your season, you're stopping, you're restarting. What do you do to establish that team chemistry during a season like this one? I mean, obviously it was a struggle at first, but I was wondering on the field and off the field, like what are some activities that y'all did to kind of, really bring the team together and establish that identity?
I mean, it definitely was a struggle, especially in the fall, because we had like half of our team at one point out with COVID or in quarantine because of COVID. So I remember there was a time where it was me, another sophomore goalkeeper, and then the entire freshman class were the only ones practicing because the rest of the team was either in quarantine or had COVID or something going on. So I think the fall we really struggled with our chemistry because it was not often that we had all of us together at one time. But then I think once we got back from break and we really like formed our bubble and kind of like we had a whole month before classes started to just kind of focus on getting better, and daily testing started and all that stuff. And so I think that in and of itself helped with our chemistry, but then also like outside of soccer, like all the traveling away trips, like we really just kind of got closer each trip. It felt like we were becoming more of a tight knit group than we already were. And so just whether it was on the bus, like playing games or like listening to music or in the hotel, just kind of hanging out and watching movies and stuff, I think that also just knowing that we were all there for that purpose of winning, trying to find our groove and winning away games was really helpful in also building the team chemistry.
Macy, you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think Jenny was spot on with it. It was hard to build a lot of the chemistry earlier on, but I think once we were, once we were like notified that a season was indeed happening, that's when we kind of started to like buckle down and say, okay, this is what we want, this is what we've been working for, and what we deserve. I think another thing that helped us that I kind of realized was a kind of a big turning point for our team was our pregame celebrations and stuff. I think we got really close during that, and we kind of realized like this is the game we love, this is the team we love, and we're all gonna just have fun with it. Especially with COVID now, like just I think everyone takes, or they used to take everything for granted, but I feel like now everything is kind of like, okay, like this is just take it one game at a time, just enjoy it while we have it. So yeah.
You go into this tournament and you win that first game, and I'm wondering, did that come as a shock to y'all, and then was that kind of a moment where you realized like, yeah, maybe we could ride this, maybe we could keep going?
I think it was definitely a shock just because Illinois was in the normal season was our worst loss in the entire conference. And so I think we all kind of were like, all right, like we're given a shot to play in the tournament. Let's just make the most of this. And whatever happens, like I'm proud of us for making it to here. And then when we won it, we were kind of like going along with the revenge tour. Like, let's just mess around and win the whole thing while we're at it. Like, let's shock the world and kind of prove everyone wrong and just have fun while we're here and know that each game, whatever happens, we'll be proud of us for making it even a step further. But obviously the end goal is to come out as Big Ten champs.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna dig into some Twitter questions that we received. I kind of touched on that one. So yeah, so this one is from Tim. He said, that kind of season turnaround speaks very highly of the culture in the program. How would you describe the culture, and if it changed this year or it just came to fruition?
I can speak on it a little bit. So I think the culture in our team definitely changed. I just think as a freshman, kind of being here a little bit in my first semester, it definitely changed because the dynamic of the leadership changed a lot. Obviously with all of the seniors graduating, I think a lot of our juniors and sophomores had to step into those big roles, as well as the freshmen coming in. We kind of were thrown into college, let alone college soccer, in a very weird time. So we were kind of trying to find our our friendships and, like what worked for us, as well as our dynamic with COVID and everything. We had to be a lot more disciplined, a lot more focused on like one common goal. And I think our culture definitely changed by the end of the season. I think everyone was more into it. Towards the beginning, I want to say, like speaking from other girls, that we were kind of embarrassed. Like starting out, we did not have a very disciplined team. But I think now everyone had the same common goal, and it led to success.
Yeah.
I'm just going, oh, sorry.
Go ahead. You can add.
I was just going to say, adding on to that, like, I think it's a really like common theme this whole season that wasn't really in past seasons, just speaking from experience, was how our coach would keep emphasizing, like, just keep making the little sacrifices. And obviously, like in past years, we wouldn't have to make per se sacrifices because we aren't in a pandemic and one person can't take down a whole team. Whereas this year, if you make one selfish choice, you could potentially ruin it for the rest of the team. And I don't think anyone wanted to be the one person that was the weak link that brought down what could potentially be a really promising season. And so I think that mentality of just keep making the little sacrifices, knowing that in the long run it will pay off, I think that was something that definitely was definitely a driving force in our culture this season.
Yeah, going off of that, I think it was also a huge definer of like who really wanted this or not. It kind of, set the bar like pretty high about like, hey, this is what we expect out of you. This is what needs to happen if you want to stay on this team, if you want to have a good season. And some people stepped up and others didn't.
Y'all talked about those little sacrifices, and I just wanted to know, what is the hardest part, especially for someone like you, Macy, starting college soccer in a pandemic? I mean, I want to know some of the sacrifices that y'all had to make. And I also wanted to know what's the toll on your mental health when it comes to a season like this?
I know for me it was really hard, especially being a college freshman. I was lucky enough to be here, one semester earlier rather than all the other freshmen. So I had some roots, but overall it was just hard with the more social life. Like I almost our whole actually I guess our whole freshman class isn't from Iowa, so we were all coming into a new space with no one we knew besides the team. And so that was really hard at first. We all kind of wanted to experience college, meet new friends. But we did have to, choose to make that sacrifice of, hey, like, let's stay with the team because this is what, is safer right now. But the team did a great job of kind of like becoming our sisters. So it was really challenging, especially with like mentally. It was also hard just because we kept getting our hopes up for a season happening in the fall. And then we kind of, kept coming back from that. But it overall, I think it definitely showed everyone their own kind of strength and yeah.
Yeah, I think I personally have a lot of respect for the freshman class just because I have a sister who's a freshman, and knowing how hard it is to come into a new space, new state, and the dorms are such a social environment, and not being able to like fully experience that to its full, I guess, appreciation is kind of my heart breaks for them a little bit. But at the same time, I have so much respect for you guys for being able to just stick with it and keep your head down and keep just grinding out with the team. But I think for me, it was especially challenging in the fall semester just because so many of us either got COVID or were in quarantine because of COVID. And so we had some girls who were in and out of, I think one of my roommates had 2 months of quarantine, like added up. And so I think just going in and out of being like, okay, I'm back in the real world now, I'm back in my quarantine, and you never knew who was going to test positive, was really mentally exhausting for a lot of people. And I think this spring has been a lot better just because we've been fortunate enough to just keep staying healthy and no one has tested positive in a little bit. But and then another thing that's been tough for me is I feel like it's almost as if we've been in season for like since August. So I think it's starting to take a kind of a physical toll on a lot of people, which unfortunately we've had a significant number of girls go down with either some sort of injury. And so I think as we get towards the end of the season, like a lot of people are just kind of pushing through the pain. I know a lot of girls who are nursing injuries and just kind of trying to grind it out for the last couple of games, but I think it's definitely been a mental and physical battle for a lot of people.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. You have really had to be in the same game mindset since August, off and on.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's a lot of training and to go through. Our last Twitter question was from Calvin, and he said, what's it like seeing former Hawkeye Chloe Lacasse, I probably pronounced that incorrectly, get called into the national team camp? And what are your thoughts on the European Super League?
I think it's always cool to see. I saw that Chloe had reached the Canadian national pool, and I know that her story is a lot different than a lot of other players just because I think she went to Europe after she graduated from Iowa and then went to play for the national team. So I think it's really cool not only that she's been able to have so much success, but also that just her path is a little bit unique and different than like what a traditional pro player would be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's really inspiring, honestly. Just seeing someone from that we could have played with, go into those crazy games against top teams, and it's just kind of inspiring because I know some girls on the team really are looking to go the next level, and it's just awesome that you see someone that has. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even like going off of like professional soccer, women's professional soccer, especially in the States, is growing. We're seeing like the NWSL really kind of rise and add teams. What's that like as a collegiate player, seeing those opportunities kind of open up at the next level?
I mean, I think it's really, like Macy said, it's really inspiring to see that there's a lot of people that we're playing against that go on. Like, I think Sam Coffey, who played for Penn State, I don't know who she signed with, but I'm pretty sure she signed with some NWSL team. And obviously I wish her the best of success at the next level, but it's just crazy to think that we're playing with some of these such high caliber players and watching them go on to the next part of their career to do great things. It's really not only like inspiring and just proud to represent the Big Ten, but also just kind of crazy to think that we're playing at the same level as some of these really top-notch players.
For sure. And now I want to go into next week. Obviously, you're going to the NCAA tournament, which is really cool, really fun. You're playing this Campbell team that won the Big South. And I want to know, what do you think this team needs to do to keep this momentum and move forward?
Yeah, I think we honestly just need to keep our heads forward and kind of keep trucking along. I know it's a lot of people would say it's luck, but it's been a long time coming because we have been a good team. We're just now finally getting our results and like kind of showing that we are a force to be reckoned with. So I think as long as we keep our mentality straight and want it enough, then it'll be a good game.
I think just along with that, taking each game one game at a time, not focusing on, because that's how we got here. No one thought we were going to win against Illinois, and we kind of just took each game at a time. Okay, let's win the next one. Let's win the next one. So I think making sure that we focus on this game and not getting too ahead of ourselves and looking towards UCLA in the next round. I think it's going to be important that we really focus on Campbell and really try to make a new game plan for them and then take each game at a time and keep working hard.
I talked to your coach yesterday, and he was saying that what y'all need to do is obviously put more balls in the back of the net. What do you think it's going to take to get those goals and get those looks even? I mean, what aspects of your offense are you looking to kind of execute better?
I think for me, speaking as a forward, one thing that we need to just keep striving towards is just taking risks and taking chances, because I think a lot of our girls just kind of try to put, personally me, I know I play safe, and so I think just as a forward line, we need to make sure that we can really keep trying to be dangerous and dynamic up top.
Macy, I think you're in the midst of a shutout streak. So what do you need to do to keep that going and hopefully defend the goal?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of it thanks to my amazing defenders. They've just done a great job of kind of keeping the ball away from the goal, away from shots. But yeah, it's great to see the shutouts kind of rolling in. I think overall we just kind of need to stay confident. Our backline's been doing a great job of like intercepting those through balls or crosses and stuff. So I think as long as we keep doing that, it'll look good.
What are some things that both of y'all are working on in your individual games that you think will be key to helping your team next week?
Personally, like I was talking about, I think the number of times my coach gets on me for like, just be risky, Jenny, go forward, take chances. And I think just having the confidence in myself and to go forward and take shots. And I mean, obviously you can't score unless you shoot. So I think just making sure that I'm trying to be an offensive threat and not just keep possession, but also like provide some sort of offensive attack for us, I think is a big part of something that I've been trying to work on.
Yeah, kind of going off of that, I'm working on being more aggressive. I know I'm pretty confident in my abilities, to come out, with these, big collegiate athletes, but I think I need to take more risks when it comes to that. I know I was kind of more passive in the Wisconsin game, and I think I could have helped my teammates a little bit more with more like, safety if I was just more confident in my strength.
Awesome. Do you all have any other lasting messages for a Hawkeye Nation as you pack your bags and get ready for this NCAA tournament?
I wanted to say a big thank you to the entire Hawkeye Nation and community, just because, I mean, the amount of support and just love we received from so many Hawkeye fans on all different platforms of social media and all other teams. And it's just crazy to think not only how many Hawkeye fans there really are out there, but also that they're watching us and they're following our story and they appreciate the comeback we've made. And I think it just makes the whole process and the whole grind so much more worth it. So I just want to say a big thank you to all the Hawkeye fans that are supporting us.
Yeah, it means a lot. It's coming from Ohio, I always knew like, the Hawkeye Nation was a really tight-knit community, and it's just great to see it. Yeah, just a big thank you. It's awesome.
Cool. I think that's a wrap. Thank y'all for coming.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.